Hi, everyone. Welcome back for episode 60. Nope. Episode 70.
Bingo.
Yeah, we're not on 69 anymore.
Episode
Episode 70. Yeah. Just can't get it out of my head. We're on episode 70 of the Simple One Podcast. I'm your host, Colin, and I'm joined by my co-host, Chris.
How we doing, everybody?
We're just a couple of best friends who are passionate about all things pop culture. If you're looking for lukewarm takes on movies, video games, TV shows, or even the occasional comic, then we've got the show for you.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, no, yeah, it's right.
I mean, it's not left, to tell you that. It's
Tell you
fucking
that,
right.
Tell you that for free.
Say that in cursive.
They'll just face a curse.
That's right.
Yeah. Your wife's a sea cow.
Yeah, we're not allowed to have livestock in the neighborhood, but you married a sea cow.
I'll say it to his face.
I'll say it to his face in cursive. Lizard kick his gizzard.
No, this week we're going to be kind of light on news with between the holidays and some personal excursion.
My car blew up.
Yeah, we're a day behind, so apologies for that.
My fault.
But by God, we're going to put one out.
That's right, we're here.
So we did get to see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Mm-hmm. So we're going to review that. Like I said, got some light news, got some trailers to talk about. And then I think you've still got some cryptids for us, don't you?
I do.
All right, so yeah, let's
hop right in.
Let's jump into it, huh? Let's yump. So, I want to start with one that I saw and I just got a giggle out of. Mm-hmm. So, Daedalic Entertainment, which was the company that made Lord of the Rings Gollum.
Okay.
The one that was just garbage. Mm-hmm. It was they had to apologize for how bad it was.
Yep.
They're not going to make games anymore. Like, they just announced that they're ending internal development. So... That's bad. They just put out such a bad game that they went, we got to shut the doors.
And they got bullied so hard. They're like, you know what, guys, I just don't think this is it.
This ain't it for us. That makes me kind of sad, but I also got a good kick out of it. When I saw it, I was like, oh,
you know, they're sitting all at that table and they're just...
What a meeting. Like, guys, we made such a bad game. We're not going to make games anymore.
We just got to lock the door.
It's like, it's the large version of, yeah, don't quit your day job, huh? You know, like, they took a shot at game development, and everybody went, no. Don't do that again.
Hate to see it.
And then they said, okay.
All right, yeah.
So, and what sucks is they were working on a new Lord of the Rings game, and they just went ahead and went, yeah, we're just not going to do that.
Probably for the better.
Yeah, we're just going to stop while we're behind.
Yeah, don't dig yourself a deeper hole.
Yeah, exactly. So, that, like I said, it's kind of sad.
Even if it was good, people probably still wouldn't buy it.
No, yeah, exactly.
That's the worst part.
That brand, you know, they've been stained. And then I saw one this morning that kind of made me go, oh, that's an interesting idea. Apparently there was almost a very meta Spider-Man version in Across the Spider-Verse where they were going to have one of the Spider People be a Spider-Man action figure that had a kid's hand holding it the whole time. And it was going to be like a basically live action mixed in of just a real toy. With a real kid holding it, and they were going to size it all so it just looks like a giant hand holding the Spider-Man and moving him around and doing his voice. And they were going to have like a kid do the, you know, I'm Spider-Man, you know?
That would have been cool.
Now that's an interesting idea, but I'm sure there was like, yeah, there's just too much involved with that. They would have had to have done like a shot of him, you know, kind of like, oh God, what was his name? Web Slinger?
Idiot.
Yep. Just... But I was like, oh, that's actually really creative.
Yeah, why does the horse have a mask?
Yeah.
For his privacy.
Yeah, secret identity.
Yeah.
Like, well, duh, you fucking idiot. I'm like, well, it's a horse.
Don't matter.
She heard you fucking idiot, and she's like, I'm not going to stand for that.
My apologies. I never talked to you like that, baby.
Hey, Siri, go burn in a hole. Oh, she heard me. Let's see what she says. All right, well, I do. But yeah, I did like that they're like, they were really swinging on some ideas that, like, I mean, I think about the Lego. You know,
you're one of our best.
You're one of our best. Yeah, you're one of our best. You know, beep boop, beep boop. And the fact that he's doing the beep boops. Parker! Yeah, Parker, get in here! Yeah. Yes, sir, Mr. Jonas Jameson. You know. But, yeah, so we did get some potential The Last of Us Part 3 leaks, but it sounds more like The Last of Us multiplayer game leaks.
Yeah.
But everybody that was reporting on it was like, reportedly Last of Us 3. But everything that I'm hearing, it sounds like it's the setup for the multiplayer version.
Which I know is what they said that they were probably going to focus on more.
Yeah. Let me pull it back up here. I accidentally closed the... Okay, so this is going to be a little bit more speculative news. Because it's like, so and so heard and said,
it's a leak.
You know, it's yeah, exactly. So where we're getting like so and so tweeted, you know what I mean? So there's a leaker who's reputable named Daniel RPK, where apparently he's gotten quite a few things correct in the past, or it's come out that like some early drafts of games and things like that were things that he had leaked.
Oh.
Where it's like, oh, well, that was an idea that they had at one point and didn't end up going with, and then everybody was like, oh, he was wrong. And it's like, no, he had some insider info, and then they changed course along the path like they do. But so he claims to have a bunch of information about The Last of Us Part 3, but everybody kind of agrees that it sounds more fitting for whatever the factions, if that's what they end up going with, the naming on the multiplayer version of it is. But I was just telling you in the edit there that there was an original tweet that I'd seen that kind of bullet pointed the leak, and I can't find that tweet now. It's been deleted. I found a link to it, and then it was like, yeah, not available. So Naughty Dog is reportedly looking to cast multiple roles for the game that may bring together a diverse group of survivors. The roles are supposedly for the following characters. So Lucas, who is an affable character, this is in quotes, but develops a relationship with another young scavenger and will have a turn to show his dark side. Okay. Mason, who's a former soldier who must choose between his loyalty to other characters in the group when Val gets put in charge. And Val, who is alleged to be the leader of this group. And then Ezra is an antagonist that seeks to take leadership from Val. And Gracis is a female character said to be aged between 18 to 25. And so the setup was basically, I was trying to see if they had the plot listed here. Yeah, I don't see them listing here, but essentially it was sounding like you wouldn't play, because some people had said, oh, well, The Last of Us 3, you're going to play as Abby and Lev, which I could see them moving that way.
Like the continuation of them.
And then this came out and was like, actually, you're not going to play as Ellie or Abby. You're going to play as all new characters. The only reason I wouldn't be cool with it is because then I don't know that Part 3 is the right naming for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Part 2 makes sense because it is just a continuation of that story. So I could see if you did like The Last of Us : and then a different title, right? Yeah. But Part 3 makes it seem like it should be a continuation of that story. So this was that you'd be in it sounds like you're going to have a house, like a nice big estate type house that you're like setting up shop in and meeting a bunch of different survivors and things like that. And basically when they were talking it out on the leaks, that's why everybody was like, oh, that sounds like factions. So it does make me wonder. Remember we saw the trailer from the Game Awards, I think maybe, for that Division, the Heartland game that was like a free-to-play Division game where you had like a home base that you kept going back to and you could upgrade and things like that. And I wonder if that's kind of what
that'd be cool.
They're going for, is that you'll have this house that you're working on. And I do like the idea of if they're going to go with leaning into what Naughty Dog does well as far as like characters and things like that, if they like intertwined multiplayer with some story elements as far as like having you be the new person in the group, and then there's all these politics going on in the group of, how it sounded like so-and-so's unhappy that so-and-so's the leader and this person wants to be the leader and all that. And so I'm kind of cool with seeing them take their shot at combining those two ideas.
As long as I get to customize my character, I'm cool.
Yeah, give them just a big fat ass.
Juicy. I want to get them
booty shorts that say juicy.
Juicy. Pink.
Yeah. It's just a pair of pink shorts. But no, so like I said, that was just a little bit of speculation that I saw, and I was like, ooh, now wait a moment. And then the two trailers that we got that I wanted to talk about was we got the full trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's. And I thought the full trailer looked better than the teaser trailer. The teaser trailer looked kind of like campy, which I guess makes sense because it is a campy concept of like animatronics coming to life. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, it looked cool. I could see them. I know that there's a shit ton of FNAF lore.
There's so much.
Too much.
There's just...
And so I don't know, and I don't know all of the lore, you know what I mean? I've watched some, like, game theory videos when it's just auto-played, you know what I mean?
Well, I remember, like, playing the first one, and I beat it, and, like, you learn more about, like, the Purple Man and stuff like that, and that, like, there's, like, it's, like, the whole place is, like, haunted. That's the shtick.
Yeah, is that the Bite of 87?
Yeah, but then they made, like, the second one, which is like a newer version. Then they made the third one. Then they made the fourth one. And then now there's like 50 different offsprings. Yeah. And so it's just like you know what?
Yeah, where there's spin-offs.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, all right. sounds like too much lore
Yeah.
to get into, and it does seem like the younger man's game.
Right, exactly.
I feel like I'm just too old, and I look at this and I'm like, I don't.
Yeah. I
Okay.
get it. Yeah, and there's like books that are like official lore.
Yeah, and again, it's just
that,
like,
and it's like,
I don't. Okay.
yeah. I think it's cool. Like if that's your shit, cool for you.
First one was good. Mm-hmm. I like playing the first one. Second one was all right.
Yeah.
I played the one on the VR where you have to go in like
what is it? Most Wanted or Help Wanted?
Help Wanted. You got to go in the tunnels and stuff like that, and like fix the vents, and like they're after you in the tunnels, like in the vents and stuff like that. But you're stationary. You don't move.
Right. Yeah.
But that one was pretty good. Again, it was just like they're dropping so many characters. They're like, you got to know this character from this one, and because they play a bigger role in it. And it's just like, holy smokes, man! I feel like
I do enjoy watching like Markiplier play like just the highest difficulty version of all of it, and then beat it, and he's just fully in, like he's entering the Matrix, he just goes quiet and is just doing shit, and you're like, I don't even know what's happening right now.
He's in the zone.
Yeah, he's in the motherfucking zone. And then all of a sudden you just hear the clock run, and he's like, I am the king! Oh, and you're like, oh, Jesus. All right, man. I don't even know what happened. But
you did it.
Good job, man. But no, I do think the movie looks interesting. I could see them going, can we take the lore and try and streamline it into movies? You know what I mean? Try and find all right, what's the core of this thing? Can we make it easier and more consumable for a general audience?
I feel like they're going to hit a really bad problem of like people, you thought neckbeards were bad about
lore.
Yeah. Dude, you're going to have a bunch of raging 14-year-olds saying like, that's not fucking right.
Or better yet, raging 24-year-olds that used to be 14-year-olds who are still passionate about the lore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know...
neckbeards, if you will.
Yeah.
They wear the creeper hoodie. Get in the Discord. Ooh.
But...
They have Discord kittens,
That's fucking gross.
Yeah.
That's so fucking gross.
Hi, kitten.
Move on. We gotta ditch that.
You're getting gagged about it.
A little bit.
Hit you with the ooh. Ooh. Yuck.
So Dune 2.
Dune Part 2, my God.
Deuce and Dune.
Dune Part 2.
Yeah.
Fucking gas.
It looks good.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah, it looks real good.
First one was really good. Have you watched it yet? Mm-mm. My guy, you gotta watch it.
Yeah. Ain't wrong.
Got me. Yeah. No, Dad and I got to go see that one. Book 'em, Dad. We got to go see that one in theaters, in the theater. Enjoyed that shit. I'm ready to see this one in theater, like go to IMAX.
Yeah.
Because the way they did scale in the first one, as far as like making shit just look massive comparatively.
He rides the worm.
Yeah. Well, we don't get to see him ride the worm in the first one, but yes.
Yeah, no, in the second one.
In the second one, he's going to ride that worm, if you know what I'm saying. I got a worm you can ride. Huh? Fucking, speaking of, Florence Pugh is the princess in this, and we barely get a look at her.
We get to see a lot more of Zendaya.
Yes, which is good, because she
wasn't in the
first one, except for like a couple flashbacks, and then she's in like the very last moments of the movie. We did get a nice announcement, like kind of not announcement. They just kind of like casually were like, by the by, this is part 2 of 3, which for the longest time the setup was that Dune was going to be split into 2 parts. Now, I am cool with that because apparently the plan is he wants the second Dune book to be the third movie, because apparently Dune 2, the novel, kind of wraps up Paul Atreides' story.
Okay.
And so that way he'll have a trilogy that just, here's Paul Atreides' story. And then after that, it gets into like his kids and grandkids and his lineage,
spin-offs and shit like that.
Yeah. Like Children of Dune and all that, and whatever, right? But I'm just kind of glad that the first Dune, I don't think made its money back, or maybe like cut it close. You know what I mean? Like barely. But they just fully committed, and I think it's because it was received so well that they're like, okay, there's something here. And then I think it did well on HBO Max. So then they're like, okay,
now it's starting to...
Yeah, there's some steam here. If we release the second one in theaters...
More people are going to come to see it.
Market it well. People will come and see it. And then if we don't release it on HBO Max the same fucking day, then they'll come up to the theater and see it. And I think Zendaya, they're able to market her much more because she is in this one. And I do think she's a pretty marketable face right now. And same with old Timmy Chalamet.
Yeah, I think they're both pretty hot right now.
They really didn't give us much of Christopher Walken talking as the Emperor. And
I got a fever.
And I'm like, now there was like a line that he gave, and it didn't sound very Christopher Walken-y, which has always struck me funny. I was like, okay, so does that mean that he's just always putting on a voice?
I imagine it's
Or
like...
is it when he doesn't talk that way? You know, does he get the direction, all right, Christopher, we need you to not sound like you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't... Even if I was in that position and I had a very familiar accent...
Right.
Like, yeah, like, you know, like that's like us doing like a country accent, or like
Right,
somebody with a
exactly.
country accent just pronouncing, instead of like oil, doing
Yeah.
like oil,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
pronouncing it more.
It's oil, it's oil.
Yeah.
You know?
So, I mean, I could see that happening. I could see that being a very well possibility of like the root of action.
Because you figure he was King Louis in the live action
He did pretty good.
Jungle Book, and he wasn't heavily Christopher
Yeah, it was,
Walken.
when he sang,
Yeah.
you noticed it.
Yeah, when he sang it sounded more like
Especially
him,
with
but
like the O and U's.
but his spoken lines were much less.
Yeah.
You could tell it was his voice, but it wasn't Christopher Walken being Christopher Walken. You know, I got a fever, you know.
When I'm looking at onions, the only type of onions I get are Funyuns.
But what a weird problem to have is that, like, his voice is so unique to him.
So,
that
like, oh,
then
that's Christopher
it's turned
Walken.
into a joke, you know?
I mean, yeah, SNL did it. You know,
Exactly.
Back what was it, like in the early 90s? Early 2000s?
Early 2000s, yeah, like 2001, 2002. You know, I got a fever. But then even, like, everybody has their own impersonation of him to sound like him and all that. So then it turns into, like, a joke.
Right.
And so it's like, all right, well, Christopher, so that people can take you seriously, we need you to not sound like yourself.
I don't think they phrased it like that.
No, but that's the underlying issue.
Yeah.
Is, you know, you're supposed to play the emperor, who's like this impending, you know, overarching, like, you rule the known universe.
And you're over here.
And you're over here
wow.
like, oh, wow, that's crazy. You know? And you're like, really, this guy?
Gentlemen, I'm just like you. I put my pants on one leg at a time.
Except when I do it, I run the empire.
Yeah, except I do it. I run the empire.
Yeah. And I make smoking hot dollars. Because fucking Florence Pugh in this. I did like that she was wearing chainmail armor
Yeah.
on her face. It looked very, like, I do enjoy the fact that, and they explain it in lore, that, like, in the world of Dune, hand-to-hand combat is way more common than projectile combat because of the way that their force fields work.
Okay.
Their force field suits that they wear deflect high-speed objects.
Rather than...
But if you move slowly, you can push through the... So you're supposed to, like, you know, get in close and then shove your knife in. And so it's kind of cool to be, like, far future, and you've got these ships and all that. And then it's like, yeah, but then they're going to get into a hand-to-hand, like, sword fight. That's dope. I don't know. I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
I want...
it looks good.
Like, I'm ready to watch Dune Part 1 again, so I'm glad that you haven't seen it, because we'll just fucking sit you
probably,
down and make you watch it with us. Because Morgie really enjoyed it. But, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to talk about... I almost said Pick a Destiny. The Dial of Destiny. Got to pick! A destination.
Let's get into it.
Yep. What's the synopsis that you got for me?
So, Indiana Jones.
So this is a guy, right?
Yeah, this guy. named Indy.
Indiana.
And,
No, what's his real name? Henry?
Henry.
Yeah.
Henry Indiana Jones. I mean, basically, like, the run of it is he's old.
Yep.
You know, he's retiring.
Yep.
And he gets dragged back in for
One last job.
And it's with his goddaughter, who is a mercenary. It sounds like,
It's more like...
because she's doing it for the money. She don't care what
yeah,
side.
so
it
not
is. She
necessarily
wants
mercenary. She's basically a grave robber. You know, she's an antiquity thief.
Yeah, and you know, yeah, I mean, that's basically the synopsis. I mean, if
Archaeologist Indiana Jones races against time to retrieve a legendary artifact that can change the course of history. Like, yeah, that's what I said.
basically, I mean, in the short run of it, yeah.
So box office wise, it didn't do bad.
What did it do?
Domestically, it did $60 million. It was all right. It's fine. You know, it is a shame that we've reached a point in the world where I'm like, $60 million isn't like, that doesn't blow my socks off. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, that's pretty all right.
Back in 1901, you
Yeah.
could buy a camera for a buck.
Let's adjust that for inflation. No, what is it? Adjusted for inflation, I think Gone with the Wind still is the highest grossing film of all time.
That's right. Wasn't even that good.
Mid.
That's all right.
130 million worldwide.
Have you
And that
seen
was just for its
Transformers?
opening.
Have you seen Morbius?
Come on now. Yeah.
What are you doing?
If I took somebody from 1901 and brought them to today and showed them Morbius, they'd have a fucking heart attack.
They would.
They'd have a stroke and die.
They think it's real.
Yeah, they would just... I still think about that. The fact that, like, allegedly the first footage they showed was, like, the train, and that everybody thought it was coming through the wall. And
Yeah.
they all had a fucking freak out. Then imagine putting them in a fucking 3D movie of Avatar.
shitting and screaming and
they're
pissing.
just fucking, they black out, fucking lose their mind. I want to see what the budget was on this beast. Indy 5 budget. You got any guesses for me? What's your heart say?
It's a pretty big franchise. It's a Lucasfilm.
And at the end of the day, at the top of the line, it's Disney.
Yeah.
Disney be putting money in movies.
I'll say 50 mil. That's high.
I thought the budget was $50 million.
The highest it could be.
No. Do you know how movies work?
Yeah, but like, I don't, like, Martin, just tell me, man. What is it?
$250 million. And you're like, 50? 50 mil?
500.
Oh, no. You said 50.
Oh, I meant, no, 500 million.
That's why I repeated to you. 50 million?
No, 500 million. I was like, that seems pretty high. You know,
That's why I asked, do you know
$500 million.
Do you know how movies work? $50 million bucks?
No, yeah, 500 million.
Yeah. Probably with marketing. Because they guess at around 250 to 300 million.
And I know Harrison Ford ain't doing that for cheap.
No. His was the 50.
Honestly, probably around there.
Maybe.
At least 10.
Oh, yeah.
Like at least 10 mil.
And if he's smart, he didn't take the money up front. He got the money off the royalties.
Yeah. I mean, you can do that too. Like, you can get percentages of.
Yeah, percentage of the gross. You don't want percentage of the net.
No.
Because they'll fuck you.
You want to know where I learned that shit from? BitLife.
Yeah?
I'm always like trying to be like an actor in there, and I'm like,
oh, yeah. Get your contract
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
like, come on, work me.
Come on, man. Yeah. Work with me. Work with me.
You know my worth.
You know me.
It's me. It's
Come on,
Dave.
it's me. It's Dave, baby.
Black
We're black
actors.
actors. Fucking stop it. I got to get my shit together here.
Get it in a bag.
Did you say in a bag?
Yeah.
Shit in a bag and take it down to the mailbox.
And get it together.
On the old Rotten Tomatoes, tomato, fucking 68% for the critics. Not great. But it's not a Rotten Tomato. It's very close, though. But the audience gave it an 88. So,
Yep. Yep. I was gonna start talking about it.
You're
I was
just
like,
going to
I
start
gotta-
like, yeah, I agree or disagree, or I feel like I'm here. So, fucking, we'll try and keep it spoiler free for as long as we can. But you know us. You know how it be.
You know me.
You know me. Just be in a silly, goofy mood.
You down with OPP?
I'm not recording. No, I'm fucking with you.
You down with OPP?
Yeah, you know me.
Yeah, you know me.
So, the what's your spoiler-free plot thoughts?
It was slow in the beginning.
Yeah.
I fell asleep twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your dog ass had to wake me up twice.
Dog ass. First time I just looked over at you and I went, I know your ass ain't fucking sleeping.
And I did.
you were
I was like,
yeah. And then the second time I elbowed the piss out of you.
yeah, he did.
Because I was like, nah, I already said it once.
I was,
And I told your ass to sit up, too. Because I looked over at you and you're all slumped in the recliner.
dude,
and
the AMC got them
eyes
like
closed.
big cushy
That's
leather
what-
chairs that
leaned in
lean
real
way
close.
back.
really, I know your fucking ass ain't sleeping. Someone's like, you need to fucking sit up. Like a dad, I'm just like, sit up.
I was like, shit, man.
I'm so sleepy.
I got tired, man.
I worked today.
Yeah, just got off work, man, you know.
Like, sit up. So you sat up, and then fucking like 20 minutes later, I look over and your eyes are shut. And I'm like, ugh.
They just peel. I have to peel them open, man, taping them in my face.
Elbowed the fuck out of you.
I mean, it was good.
It was good. I slept through the first 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, you know me. Yeah, but
not even. There's like the flashback at the beginning.
yeah, which I wanted to talk about the CGI in that because it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think they did a really good job,
Yeah, the
especially with
de-aging.
his just like his facial expressions, like
Yeah.
when not talking as well, like when he's receiving information, it's not just a
Right.
blank,
Yeah, it's not just a...
blank Harrison Ford. They add like the eyebrow raise or anything like that, or like lips moving.
And I do wonder if... Did Harrison Ford actually do that, and then they... Did that, or did they go like the
I feel like
Mandalorian route where it was another actor, and then they put Harrison Ford's face on him? You know what I mean?
I would want to say, honestly, I'd want to say with Harrison Ford being there, they probably just threw a mocap on him. Because I feel like that'd be so much easier. Because it's like you're working with the actual face.
Right.
You're not trying to reconstruct anything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would make sense to me. But then again, I could also see Harrison Ford just being like, no, put it on another guy.
Yeah.
What about you?
That's all your spoiler.
Oh, no, I thought
okay.
I thought we were just going
Doing
back
all
and forth.
Okay. So yeah, I did. I agree with you that some of the CGI at the beginning was pretty good. There was a weird transition where like they're doing all the stuff and then the action scene is over and they just kind of walk off, and you could tell that it was actually Harrison Ford because the person walked like an old man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where you could like, okay, that's now Harrison Ford today. You know what I mean? Versus like a body double with his face on it.
Harrison Ford doesn't look bad.
No, we do get a shirtless scene.
And he's got like abs.
Yeah, he had like the outline of his abs and biceps.
Yeah, he was good looking.
Delts in his biceps. You and I looked over and we're like, he's not in bad shape. That's yeah.
Yeah, I looked at that and I was like, hey, he's got another 10 in him. He's got another 10 years. Don't.
Probably not.
Don't.
How old is he?
He's like 87. I think he's 86.
I don't think he's that old.
He's old.
Oh, I know. I know he's in his 80s. I bet he's like 82.
87.
87?
No, he's 80.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, 87. Damn.
I wouldn't guess him to be 80 either. Maybe 70.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely looks old. You know what I mean?
He looks old, but, I don't know. I don't think his demeanor changed. But then again, he's never had, like, a high demeanor. He's always been, like...
He's been a pretty mellow dude.
Good.
Yeah. I, honestly, watching that opening scene, which is the flashback that we've seen in some of the trailers, I kind of wanted to know, like, that it felt like the ending to an Indiana Jones movie that we were catching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I honestly wouldn't have been against them just making a movie...
Well, honestly, like, that flashback goes on for...
about 30 minutes.
It's a big chunk of the movie. Yeah. I thought it was going to be like 10 minutes just to kind of like recap. But no, it's like a full-fledged, story that you learn. And that
what's the runtime on that thing? On the
2 hours and 55 minutes.
2 hours and 55 minutes is the full film. Yeah. And it did feel...
It was long. It felt long.
Its length. Because I think, again, you do run into that issue of the flashback's 30 minutes, and then there's like an hour and a half of exposition to... tell you what's gone on.
Since that flashback, there's a jump here. This is what you need to know within that time frame, and then picking up. And that's why this past flashback we just showed you is important to what's going on now.
Yeah.
So I mean, that felt fucking forever. I ain't gonna cap to you, dog.
I ain't gonna front.
I ain't gonna front on it. But and then we meet his goddaughter, who
played by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who I'm a big old fan of.
I think she did a really, really good job.
Yes,
I will say one of the things I will talk about real quick, I guess, with characters and chemistry, we're kind of learning in that. I think all the characters were phenomenal. Yeah. There was not a bad actor.
No, there was one character that I didn't really care for.
The henchman,
pretty mid,
especially that big guy.
Yeah, now he was just there to be big.
Now, granted, he did pick up Harrison Ford and fucking threw him across the room. But
there's one point where they're in an airplane, without getting into the specifics, and he like storms the cockpit, and he just grabs the guy by the collar and just breaks his neck on the ceiling. Yeah, just lifts him up out of the seat, just and drops him. You and I both like, boom!
Oh my god.
He's a freak. He's huge. But yeah, he definitely was there just to be like, that's a big motherfucker.
But he really didn't. He was kind of useless outside of that because, like, I don't know. We'll talk about it later. But
there's a character that I felt was put in to remind you of another character, and he kind of annoyed me.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
No. Yeah. Because he didn't really have a point.
Yeah. We'll talk about that character later.
Yeah.
I thought for a second, I'll wait because I want to talk about it. I don't want to tease it because I'm going to tease it and you're going to go, what the fuck are you talking about?
Saying to me? Yeah. Characters and chemistry. I agree with you. I think Phoebe Waller-Bridge did a really good job.
Yeah, especially the chemistry between Harrison Ford and Phoebe.
Phoebe Bridge.
Phoebe Bridge was really good. It did feel like there was a genuine connection of like long distance of like, exactly. I know your importance, so I'm not going to do you dirty or like talk down to you.
Yeah, I know who you are, but it's been a long time since I've seen you.
Yeah, so there's like awkward. I still, obviously.
You're a very different person than the last time I met you.
Yeah, and so I thought that was a really good aspect of it that they threw on. And they always still had the best interest for each other. Like even when their plans didn't necessarily line up.
Yeah.
But we'll talk more into depth with that in spoilers.
Let's see. Mads Mikkelsen always plays a good villain. He does. He is a Nazi in this movie.
Nazi.
It was kind of good to just see like Nazis just fully being the bad guys again.
Oh yeah,
and then them just like shooting Nazis, kicking Nazis in the head. There's a lot of Nazis that.
How do you think Germany takes that?
Like, they're like, fuck them Nazis.
Yeah, well, I figured, but I was curious more. Do you think they're like, ooh, that was us?
Yeah, right, yeah. Well, probably the same way. Well, no, they probably take it better than we do when it comes to, like, slavery. When slavery comes up, we're like, come on, get over it. And then
It was so long ago.
come on, yeah,
The Vietnam War was a draw.
yeah, exactly. You know,
We didn't lose. We fled.
like, slavery was 200 years ago. and
Get
you're like,
over it, dude.
Yeah, but my grandmother still couldn't go to the same bathroom as you. And you're like, get over it. You know, it was so long ago. And you're like, no. It was in our lifetimes.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
Anyways, got off on a weird tangent there. Fucking, what is happening?
So, killing Nazis, shooting Nazis, scalping Nazis.
Speaking of being racist, killing Nazis. Harrison Ford. He has a few good, like, one-liners. Like, I like the one he hits the guy. He hits Mads Mikkelsen with it, where he says, "You're German. You're not supposed to make jokes," or something to that effect. You're not supposed to be funny. Or don't try to be funny.
He hit him with one. He called him Kraut.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah.
And I was like, yeah. Fuck that Nazi. I want to see his head get blown off.
Yeah, right. And he does have a weird, like, interaction with the African American gentleman who's like the room service.
Yeah, which makes me think, like, do you think
he's racist? Yes.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, he's a Nazi.
But like, it seemed to be he's still like talking to him, and he's talking down to him, but like in a very passive tense.
Talking down to him in a way that I'm sure he was used to. Yeah, you know, because it's supposed to be like it's 69.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I guess that just breaks my heart. That
yeah.
Well, but yeah, you know that whole scene was definitely, it made me uncomfortable.
Yeah,
uncomfortable.
Which I think
was the whole point.
Yeah.
But I do like in that beginning scene where he is Harrison Ford's young and he's following him up on the train.
Yeah,
and then he just gets smacked hard by like
one of the like the ding ding ding.
Yeah,
ding,
the
ding.
little not alarm, but
yeah, like the crossing, the train crossing. I mean,
and he got smacked like
I don't know how he was alive. That was a weird one for me.
Yeah, I thought there was gonna be more to that
Yeah,
rather than him just being alive.
To that. Yeah.
But yeah, he got smacked like in the head and like just got taken off the plane the train going like 70 miles an hour. It looked like.
Yeah.
But that was really cool and that was really funny and like.
Oh, yeah,
fuck them Nazis.
They do kill a ton of Nazis.
Lots of them.
There's just a lot of killing in this, and I was like, yeah.
I would say it's a good action movie. Like
there was, I will say that some of the chase scenes feel long.
A little bit. We got to start diving into spoilers. Yeah.
All right. How do we rate stuff?
So you can be overwhelmed, which means your expectations were surpassed. You were overwhelmed. Yeah, overwhelmed by the film, and or you can be underwhelmed, which means you thought it was a big fat wet stinker, wasn't good, dog water.
Yeah, disappointment.
Yeah, or you can always meet right in the middle and be simply whelmed.
1, 2, 3.
Overwhelmed.
Simply whelmed.
I had really low expectations for it,
Yeah.
And so the fact that it was better than what I thought it was. Killed it. There was a few parts where I'm like, I don't know about that. Are you sure about that?
Yeah. Are you sure about that? I don't know fucking shit. I didn't do anything.
But no, I thought it was good enough to the point where I was like, what I was expecting, it did a lot better than what I expected, especially from what we saw in the trailers, like the scene with the horse and the subway, especially the scene from the trailer where they're in the subway, and he's on the horse, and it just looks very green screeny.
Yeah, where you're like,
that was still there, and that was the one scene where I was like, what the fuck's going on here? Because he's got this horse hopping down flights of stairs. I'm like, that's not really how, horses ain't gonna do that. Yeah. And then to boot, one of the henchmen, with the little cabbie on it. Yeah. And he just, I'm like, again, that's not. That's a little Hollywood, but then again, so is Indiana Jones. Yeah, exactly. Like the whole concept is, this almost like the adventure of Tintin.
It's very Tintin,
and which was a banging movie. But I guess just I will say seeing Harrison Ford. I mean, now that we're in spoilers, just trying to go chronologically. After the recap of his de-aging, we see him, and he's a teacher still, or a professor. And he's retiring. Yeah. But he's not living luxurious.
No, he's like in an apartment.
He's in an apartment building. He's yelling at
hippie neighbors.
Yeah, because they landed on the moon and they're all making a bunch of they're all blasting music, and he's like, "Shut the fuck up! I'm trying to sleep." Yeah. And he's like, "Did you hear the news?" And he's like, "No." And they're like, "They put a man on the moon." Yeah, and he's like, "He's a bah humbug." He really didn't fucking care.
He didn't give a shit.
But like, it was an interesting concept, which helped me understand, I guess, more so about boomers. Because he's like, who cares about the future? The future means nothing if we forget about the past.
Yeah.
Which I was like, let them cook. You know,
Wait a minute.
like,
yeah, and I do think there was there's an aspect of like, for him, he thinks the wonders are here. What are you going to find out in space? There's nothing out there.
Yeah.
Right. Here, there's so much to be found.
there's so much to still be discovered of lost worlds.
Yeah, exactly.
And then after that, he goes to...
Well, he goes to class and is instructing, and the class is not
interested.
Not interested.
They don't care.
But old Phoebe Waller-Bridge is there.
Sitting in the back.
What's your character's actual name?
Wombat. That's all I know.
Yeah, he keeps calling her Wombat. I don't remember what her actual name was. What her nickname was, Wombat. So, Helena.
It's basically the same thing.
Wombat, yeah. She's at the back of the class and keeps interjecting, and he's kind of like you see him light up a little bit.
He's like, oh, someone's interested. Like, yeah, yep.
And who has not been there where you're in a class where nobody's speaking, and you throw out an answer, and the teacher kind of is like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, thank you. Like, yeah. Yeah, 'cause he keeps saying, he's like, it's going to be on the final, guys. Like, you got to fucking take this serious.
Yeah.
Like, listen, just do it.
Suit yourself, whatever.
I would be as interested, if it was fucking Indiana Jones,
Yeah, right?
I'd fucking be all about
It did make me wonder, like, do they must not know about, like, the shit that he's done.
I'm pretty sure he probably keeps on the hush.
On the low.
Man, you ain't talking about it.
If I found out that my motherfucking teacher killed Nazis,
That'd be what's up.
I'd be like, yo.
That's what's up.
Did that scar you? And then if he's like, yeah, I'll be like, enough said. And then if he says no, I'll be like, all right, tell me about it.
Yeah.
Like, are you cool to tell me stories? Tell me some stories.
Tell me, how many Nazis have you scalped? You know Aldo Rain?
Gorlami.
Gulami. Whoa.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But so after that, yeah, she starts interjecting. He's like, oh, thank God. Oh, great heavens. And then he kind of like finds out after class, like, ooh, you are
my goddaughter.
Who I haven't seen in like
who I ghosted.
15 years, like it sounds like. Because, when she was a kid, because, we get that flashback, and she looks to be maybe about like
12-ish.
12, 13, and now she looks like
She's
at least
30.
Yeah. At least. Yeah, probably around there.
Yeah.
And,
well, you figure it's 1969, and the flashback takes place in 45.
Summer of 69.
So it's been 19 years since that flashback. So, yeah.
Yeah. I was pretty close. But so, yeah, she comes up and she's like, yo, God, Peppy.
What it is, Indy?
There's this artifact.
We completely brushed over the fact that artifact's introduced in the flashback.
Yeah, it's an artifact that takes you through time.
Potentially. We don't know that that's its full potential.
But we heard, like, because when they find it, like, it's a fake.
It's a goddamn motherfucking duh.
But in theory,
this thing might be able to either predict the future or predict larger things.
Yes. And
like fissures in time.
It's all based off of math equations. Like, that's how you kind of line it up.
Archimedes from ancient Greece, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Archimedes, who was Greek, I think.
Yes. Greekos.
They were being invaded by the Romans, and he supposedly had the Archimedes dial, which is the dial of destiny, and he broke it in two and had them separated. Right?
Nobody should have these.
The Romans had one half, and that's how it was found. Mm-hmm. And then it came into the possession of Indy's bub, his buddy, which is Helena's father.
Who's a fucking looks like a nutcase.
Yeah, he ends up getting very obsessed with it, and like it ruins his life, his relationships. Indy kind of like comes in as an intervention with him and takes the thing from him.
Yeah, like because even his buddy is like I don't remember what his name is, but his buddy's even like, yeah, you need to take this away and like you need to don't hide it, destroy it.
Yeah, like get rid of it.
You need to just get rid of it if I can't have it and figure it out.
Yeah,
and so will do.
Yeah. Doesn't do that shit. He takes it and hides it at his college.
Yeah, he wants to
preserve history.
Yeah, which I can understand that from that kind of aspect of things.
That kind of ass.
That kind of ass of things, And then she comes up and she's like, "You're."
Yeah, I know you should. I know you didn't. She's telling him a lie.
Yeah,
and it's like, hey, I know that you dropped this and lost it or whatever, and in France, let's go get it. And he's like. All right, so he takes her up to, show her that he's actually still got it. And then she's like, thanks. and leaves him to be shot at by the baddies, which we get to see Boyd Holbrook, who is he's the bad guy from Logan.
Yeah.
And they don't give him much to do as a bad guy henchman.
I think he's a good actor.
Yeah.
Especially in Logan. He did a really good job playing, what's his name? I don't remember what his name is from Logan, but he did a really good job playing him. But in this one, it did feel like there's no character depth with the henchmen, which, I mean, they're henchmen, so it's fine, but like they got to be in, something.
Don't get a face.
Right, yeah, and just not do anything with it. Just a wasted potential.
Yeah.
And then after that, that's when I started dozing off.
Yeah. That's
Sorry, that's going to be a little gray, so I'll let you take over for a bit.
At you and you're over there. That's when I leaned. I was like, you better not be fucking
I didn't snore at all. Did I?
Oh, yeah.
No.
That's how I need to look over at you. And went, you better not be fucking sleeping over there. Looked at me. But you're like, oh, man.
I don't remember ever, like, falling asleep. It'd always be like my eyes get real heavy, and I'm still listening to it, and I'd, like, periodically, like...
No, you were asleep.
Oh.
You had fallen asleep.
Like, bro, you had pajamas on. Like, you were tucked in bed.
Like, you had
your
a candlestick
nightlight
and a little hat on.
Dude, my phone fell between the seat, like, while we're watching the movie.
You were freaking out about it.
Dude,
Like,
I
are
was
you
just
going
like...
to use the thing? Like...
Well, no, but, like, I just didn't want to, like, recline my chair up and...
Right, yeah, just mangle it. So anyways, she fucking, ditches Indy, and he's getting attacked by her guys that are in pursuit. And he ends up getting picked up by him. And it was kind of funny, there's like a demonstration or a parade because of the moon landings / the war in Vietnam. And as they're dragging him through the street, he starts chanting, "Hell no, we won't go!"
Yeah,
to like get all the people to like, you fucking pigs, and yell, and they're like, shut up, and he ends up getting away, like running off into the crowd.
That's when he ends up hops up on a horse, and I remember. Well, I was asleep right before you woke me up.
I woke you up as that was getting ready to happen.
And he went on that horse, and there was a whole big chase and everything like that, and kind of bad.
Yeah, it was not a good chase.
Not a good chase, but as soon as he gets off that, he just ditches the horse. Like he hands the lead to just some random stranger,
some dude
and then
on
he's
the
like,
subway platform.
All right, I'm out.
Like,
After that, is that when he goes to his buddy?
Yeah, I can't think of his name
For the boat.
Not for the boat, but for the plane. To get out of.
Yeah, to get out of here and go
States.
to
No, he goes to Morocco.
Yes.
To go to the casino.
Yes.
Because that's where she's going to sell
the
half of the Dial of Destiny. Which turns out, that's how we kind of find out that turns out she's not interested in like
any of the history behind it.
She just wants to sell this
shit. She just wants the money.
Yeah.
And his buddy.
And it seems like maybe she had been hired by the Nazi to get it.
Yeah. Do you think she knew he was a Nazi?
Yeah. I don't think she cares.
That's pretty morally low.
Yeah.
To just willingly work for a Nazi for a paycheck. Couldn't be me.
He was paying like $150,000.
I think I could do it.
I've never really got a price.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm a Nazi.
Especially in the 60s?
Yeah, 69? Come on now.
You'll never have to work again.
Yeah, fuck you.
Buy a house. Buy a house.
Getting home.
Buy a wife.
Yeah, if you hold off for about 19 years, the Soviet Union's going to go under. There's going to be a lot of desperate people. Buy a Russian bride for like $1,000.
Borsk. Strong like big ox. Russian women are tall and big and muscular. Like they
scare me.
Wives, I'm looking more like bodyguards. I'm looking at an investment, baby. Yeah. Listen, I got the 401k already set up. Yeah. All I need is just a Roth.
I'm not after. Yeah, I'm not after love. I'm after muscle. Yep. She's gonna guard the money.
Like this thing's a declaration of independence to her. Like she with her life.
So fucking Phoebe Waller-Bridge is selling this thing at a casino in Morocco. Indy rolls up. He just so happens to like his buddy's like, "Hey, I got this out from under the bed," and it's his gear. It's his hat and jacket and his whip. And you're like, "There we go. He's fucking Indy again."
It's Indy.
And he rolls up in Morocco and is like, "Hey, motherfuckers, this is Morocco. I'm Indiana Jones. Give me the tablet." Yeah. And they're like, "Who's this fucking Joker?" And that's when he busts out the whip and starts.
Because things are getting rowdy.
Things are getting heated. And everybody just kind of pulls their gat, and he's like... Oh.
And he drops quick.
Yeah, he's like, oh! Yeah.
I will say, now granted, I'm not sure how much of it is stunt double versus how much of it is actually Harrison Ford.
Yeah, right.
He's quick moving. He's not he's not slow whatsoever. Yeah. Like, even when the parts like... Where a later scene I'll bring up again when Indy and Wombat are running together.
Yeah. they look like they're matching pace.
They're hauling it. Yeah, they're not. He's not too far behind her.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then after that,
there are some scenes where they have him like doing acts of physicality that I'm like, all right, he's not doing that. You know what I mean? Not like, oh, I can tell that's not him, but like, okay, some suspension of disbelief that this old man's climbing a mountain right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or climbing this rock
Which
face.
is, we'll talk about that part because it's coming right up here soon. But so yeah, they end up getting the dial.
Yeah. No. The dial gets away.
Snatched by the main antagonist from Logan. He picks it up.
And yeah, him and the Nazi, I can't think of the character's name, but
Kraut.
Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah. Schmidt. It's Schmidt. And so they're like, well, yeah, but he doesn't have the other half. And to get to the other half, he has to have the codex or whatever it's called. And so we know where the codex is at. We're going to go get the codex before he does. So they go to motherfucking...
Yeah, because they try to stop him, which is where I want to talk about, because they get on like a trolley, those cars where it's like the three wheels.
Those little tuk-tuks.
And
oh, yeah, I completely forgot about that chase.
That's a good chase.
Yeah.
I liked that one. I thought
it was too long.
It was long, but I will say again, going to kind of how old he is, there's that scene where he jumps tuk-tuk to tuk-tuk.
Yeah. No,
there's no fucking way there's no way he's pulling that shit off.
I've seen old people try and get out of cars.
I've seen old people open up a smartphone. There's no fucking way he's trekking that, dude. There's no way. Like
70-year-olds fall over in the bathroom and then die a couple weeks later. This guy's not jumping from tuk-tuk to tuk-tuk.
Their biggest enemy is a flight of stairs, you know?
Right? Yeah. Uneven sidewalks. That'll take him out.
That's awful.
That's fucked up.
But it's true.
It's the facts. Like,
the sooner we accept it, the more we can move on from it and learn and adapt. But then after that, they get away because they're trying to catch up to him in that car. And they end up getting away. And then they're like, all right, we got these codes.
Right,
I know a guy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go find him, and we got these codes, and we're going to go out there, which is where we get to...
We're going to go down to, what's the name of a movie? Casablanca. Catch a plane. We're going to fly over to so-and-so's place. And I got a buddy there with a boat. That's when we meet motherfucking Antonio Banderas with a big old beard on him.
Yes. And, but we also meet, I don't know what the kid's name is.
Teddy?
Sure.
Could be. Didn't like him. Nope. He was annoying as fuck and he had no purpose.
I think he was supposed to be a roundabout. Or short roundabout.
Yeah, roundabout.
Short round.
His old traffic circle, And silly old traffic circle.
Wasn't good.
No. It was like, hey, remember short round? Well, we couldn't get him, so here's... this kid. Which it felt like he was supposed to be her short round. Okay. If she's supposed to get like a movie or a show or whatever, I think it's going to be her and Teddy's her short round.
I don't know, man. Short round was a whole lot more... Well, I guess we'll talk about it later. Yeah. I'll give my final thoughts after we hit the end because there's some crucial parts we need to talk about. We're not there yet.
So they do. They move forward. They go... we're going to dive down to the bottom of the ocean real quick here. Just in a lickety-split. Get into this old Roman ship, grab the codex, and then get out of there. And then they were like, there are eels down there. And
Indy was not cool with that. He was like...
And the kid's like, they kind of look like snakes. And he's like, no, they fucking don't.
No, they don't. Yeah, because he's got a big old fear of snakes.
Yeah. And then the poor guy, is getting swarmed by eels down there. I was like, that's horrifying.
They're all biting
I'd
him.
be shitting my pants.
Well, I mean...
You wouldn't catch me in the fucking water, first of all.
They were electric eels. It looked like it because, I heard the zap and,
I don't know. I didn't think they were. I thought they were just moray eels.
Could have been either
way. Yeah, either way.
They were big
fucking
as
big
fuck.
eels
they were huge. Yeah, and he was...
Pop that flare.
But then when they find it, because they do...
Yeah, they do get in there and find the codex thing.
And then they get up and...
Nazis are there.
Oopsie
whoopsie.
Yeah. Boland's calling.
Yeah. Killed all of the guys on the boat except for Teddy's kid. Yeah, the kid.
Yeah, even his buddy.
Well, Antonio Banderas wasn't dead yet.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah. He does get killed though. Yeah. They pull him up and they're like, all right, everybody, fucking sit down. You guys are gonna translate this shit.
Which is something I didn't. They kept them alive, and there could have been a lot of scenarios where they just, you've been such a nuisance.
Yeah, exactly.
Shoot you, and they didn't.
Yeah.
And I was like, that just seems scripted.
Yeah. They're like, he's got to die in this scene.
Yeah.
So, they're like, Indiana Jones, you're going to fucking translate this shit. And he's like, over my dead body. And then they shoot Antonio Banderas hard in the knee. And Indy's like, you goddamn son of a bitch. And then fucking Antonio Banderas is like, don't fucking do it, Indy. And then they just shoot him in the forehead. And you're like, well, he's dead.
And then...
By Antonio Banderas. And then fucking Wombat is like, give me that shit. I'll translate that.
For
but
a
you
price.
gotta pay me... I don't remember what she says. Like,
well, they paid her way more than she asked for because they just
Yeah.
gave her a big fat bag of what looked like diamonds.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo. But
Yeah.
working in the jewelry biz, side note,
She didn't make that. Yeah.
you're not going to be making any of that money back.
No.
You cannot resell diamonds for shit.
Yeah. 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 She'd have been better off getting cold hard cash. Yeah.
Or gold.
Yeah. Yeah. Invest it. Dividends, you know?
Yeah.
Return on investment. So she starts spinning a web. Yeah. Telling them all about what this thing says. Goes over to Indy and shows him that she's got a fucking stick of dynamite in her
Just
pocket.
Jay chilling in her back B.
She's like, don't worry, I got a plan. And he's like, you got a motherfucking boomstick in your back pocket there, baby. What's the plan, you know? And so she walks over to old Frau Schmidt and is like, that a motherfucking cigarette, don't mind me.
Yep.
Yoink. Starts hitting the puffy on that. And walks over and is trying to like draw out the quote unquote
Stall.
translation.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's stalling because she can't get the fucking dynamite to light. And Indy, she's like behind her back showing Indy the cigarette. And
Yeah. He's trying to like help her light it.
and starts burning. And so she finally like says whatever the thing is.
Listen here, Kraut.
Yeah, it's like, you know,
Big old titties. You know, throws a
eat
stick.
shit, bigot, and just throws it at his feet. And it just, they kick it down the stairs. Indy and her and the kid just bolt. They almost leave Indy.
Yeah.
Like, she still didn't give a fuck.
And again, they stole their boat. Which,
Yeah.
how did they get off?
Don't know. Yeah, I was wondering
Yeah,
that
there's
too.
another-
Well, they had dinghies.
Which
They were
one?
little, you dingy. There were life rafts.
Like, they're pretty far out in the middle of the ocean, though. Like, how long do you think that
They're
is?
Nazis, all right, man? They've been surviving for fucking 20 years.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hiding out in Argentina, they can hide out in the ocean for as long as they want.
Yeah. Your Uncle Klaus moved to Argentina, about 1946? Huh? And? I'm just saying. Kind of weird.
Kind of,
He's got a lot of skulls and eagles. You know?
what do you do for work?
Where'd you get all this gold from?
I don't know what you
Just
do.
Nazi gold. Fucking, yeah, so they just leave them on a sinking boat out in the middle of the ocean. I don't know, the boat doesn't sink. They just get in a...
But it does blow up.
Yeah, get in a dinghy and dip. But she does reveal to Indy that she gave them all false information, and we're directing them in the wrong direction.
But Schmidt catches that
Yeah,
before.
he's like, well, let me just fucking put my binoculars up to my eyes here and go. Well, they're headed west, not east, so let's follow them. So they do. And they go. And there's fucking tomb. They're trying to get to Archimedes' tomb.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're skipping over stuff, but yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
just,
If we're skipping over it, it obviously doesn't
it's
matter.
not that important. And I think this is the second part where I started to fall asleep because it started to slow back down here right before
Yeah, 'cause
they
I
got
had
to
to
the
tell
tomb.
you. Yeah, because you're like, I'm going to go splash water on my face.
Yeah, I got up and I went and I was like, I got to get an all beef hot dog and I got to go fucking throw some water on my face. I got to get up, man.
I gotta get some meat in my mouth and some water on my face.
Like, if there's
I'm
one-
getting drowsy.
If there's one thing that can perk me right up, it's an all beef hot dog.
If there's anything that'll perk me up, it's a wiener in my mouth. You know?
Yeah.
Some snossage.
But
So they fucking go to Sicily, I think, or wherever they were. I don't remember. They go to Greek. They go to
they're
Greek.
at Greek.
They're at Grek, and the fucking kid gets ganked. He gets
Hard.
kidnapped hard by the Nazis.
I don't remember how he got kidnapped, but I remember looking. I was like,
I don't either.
Yeah.
You got back and all right, the kid's gone. They're going to the tomb, and you're like, all right, word. So basically, Indy's like, hey, Helena, they stole the kid, but they're not going to hurt him because he knows a lot of stuff and they're going to use him. So we're just going to race them and try and get there first.
beat them there. Yeah,
So they go to the motherfucking...
it's a pretty bold assumption that they're not just going to kill him.
Yeah, he's like, at the end of the day, Indy didn't give a shit either.
No.
He's like, oh, well, kid's a fucking nuisance
Yeah.
anyway.
I do like how on the boat ride there, Wombat's like cheering, like, "Oh my god, we just fucking got away." We got
and Indy's like, my fucking friend just
and
died.
he goes, "All of my friends just died there."
She's like,
And
sorry.
she's, and he's like, "Yeah, so fucking chill out."
On the boat the night before they go for the dive, Indy just kind of like dumps his life's problems on her.
Yeah, and we
They
find
just
out
killed
he's-
Shia LaBeouf's character
Yeah,
in that little line of dialogue that apparently he either... so it must have been... I don't know if he enlisted and went to war in Korea or Vietnam. I'm going to say Vietnam because the divorce was recent. But either way, he says, like, if I had the dial of destiny and could go back in time and change anything, I would fucking tell my son not to enlist.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh,
Why?
why? And he's like, well, because I'd tell me he'd die and it'd fucking destroy his mom and dad's marriage and they wouldn't know how to handle it and all that. And you're just kind of like,
oh my God. Indy.
Henry,
Henry,
carrying
baby.
a lot of shit. Kind of made me sad, like seeing an old man talk like that. And you're like, that's some real, like,
That's not that's real.
that's some shit that happens, And you're like, fuck, all right, well, it's an old man with like regrets, things that happened in his life that he wish hadn't, And so that kind of made me think of the same thing when he's like, my friend's fucking died just now, and she's cheering. So yeah, tough. They fucking get to the tomb, do some tombing, some Indiana Jonesing,
Do some tombing, do some raiding.
Let's do some tomb raiding, some national treasuring, that all comes
Race to
from,
Witch Mountain.
It all comes from, Indiana Jones style.
Sure.
Grave robbing. But they solve some puzzles, get through there, find I almost said pick a destiny again, the dial of destiny. And the motherfucking corpse of Archimedes is wearing a wristwatch.
Yeah.
And has a phoenix on his tomb that has a propeller. And she's like, what the fuck? He used it. Like, it works. That's what they're both like. He had to have used it. And so they assemble the thing. And then Schmidt rolls up and is like, bang, 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 bang. Starts firing on him. Indy fucking gets a Luger. What'd you call me? He gets a Luger from...
Luger, I barely know her.
From old Boyd Holbrook. Starts popping shots back. Oh, we do need to address the fact that Teddy, the child, just killed a man.
Yeah.
He drowns the big guy. Mm-hmm. They are cuffed together and they fall off a rope bridge together into a stream of water.
And he's able to...
There's like a grate that they get pinned
and
against.
Beforehand, cause his whole shtick is he's really good at pickpocketing.
Yeah.
And so, like, right
hand.
when they're on the bridge, he goes to pickpocket him, gets caught, but because the guy jerked back so hard and moved, it broke the bridge, and he threw it in his mouth as a save. Yeah. And then they fall in, and then he falls through a grate that has a hole big enough for him. And he's able to get it unlocked, and see ya.
And he like handcuffs the dude to the grate.
To the grate.
He leaves him there underwater. And
it's on his hands.
That kid drowned that man.
And like he's gonna die.
That's
horribly.
Brutal. Yeah, he's gonna drown under there. He's gonna struggle until he can't.
Just rushing water.
Horrifying. And that kid's like gonna sleep like a baby, So all of it, So then when Helena and Indy are taking cover behind Archimedes' tomb, firing, pop, 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 pop.
Brother sad motherfucker.
The kid fucking does like a squaw and dives off of the statue onto
pulls a Nacho Libre.
Yeah, just comes diving out of the fucking out of the wing and tries to catch take the dial of destiny. Gets thwarted, thrown around, and so Indy's like, get the kid out of here.
Yeah, go.
So they fucking run for it. Indy gets shot in the chest.
Up in the shoulder.
Yeah,
a little above where the where you think the heart would be, right?
It's a wound that you're like, you gotta get that taken care of.
Yeah, or else you're
not gonna be well. And so they're like, all right, well, we gotta go.
But then again, they're like, don't kill him.
Yeah, they
don't leave him.
Yeah, that was a weird
and
thing.
I was
They
like,
kept him alive for no reason.
Come on.
Yeah, not sure why they kept him alive. Other than to, like, I don't know, gloat? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I just feel like it's like, well, obviously, it's like, it's supervillain 101.
Yeah.
I feel like they always do that. And it's like, you think...
And it never goes your way.
Right, you think they'd fucking learn, especially...
A smart Nazi.
Yeah, I was going to say Nazis, they're fucked up, but they're smart. Like, that was the whole...
Especially this guy. Like,
yeah.
His whole thing is that he was a scientist.
But
who believed in mathematics heavily, and that's why he's a big fan of Archimedes. So... His whole plan is revealed to us that while they're on the fucking way to an airport, that the dial of destiny, there is a hole opening up, a fissure opening up, if you will, that if they go through it today in 1969, it'll take them 30 years back to just a couple days before Hitler declares war on Poland. Mm-hmm. And, so the idea is, okay, he's going back to try and turn the tide of the war,
Yeah, because we find out his whole thing is like...
He believes that Hitler lost the war.
Hitler lost the war.
Yeah. Germany didn't lose the war. Hitler did. And he even, like, corrects people that, like, the Allies didn't win the war. Hitler lost the war. Mm-hmm.
Which is what he said to that guy.
The African-American, the guy that the room service.
Yeah, I kept wanting to say bellboy.
Yeah. And I did like there was an interesting question or a line that he asked him of, are you enjoying your victory?
Yeah.
And it's like an interesting moral question of like, yeah, you won the war to come back to be treated like shit.
Yeah. Was it really worth it?
Yeah.
Because he asked him, he's like, did you serve? And he's like, yes, I did.
Yes, I did. And he's real proud of his service, as he should be. And then, and he goes, do you enjoy your victory? And you're like, oh, tough. Yeah. But, and so he's getting all dolled up in his Nazi gear. And he's like,
got them shiny pins on.
We will be coming back to 1939. And you're like, oh, word? What are we going to do here? And he's like, we're going to kill Hitler.
We're going to win the war.
Yeah. And you're like, oh
my.
Shit. All right. Now, this next part is exciting to me. I think it's going to be a divisive part for people.
Okay.
But I enjoyed it.
Spit.
So, fucking, first of all, I do have a gripe leading into it. They're like, all right, we're going to get on this fucking 1939 era bomber and fly through the fissure in the air, and we'll open up into 1939 Sicilian airspace, and then we'll be golden, right? We'll be Nazis in World War II. Indy's obviously like not down for that ride,
right?
And Helena and not Short Round get into the airport. Helena's like, I'm gonna take this fucking motorbike and try and get on that plane before they take off.
Yes,
you go get in that plane
and fly it
and follow us.
And he's like, I've never flown, sat in a fucking plane.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
And she goes, you got it.
This is all you, Chief, and gives him a good old back pat.
And that's what I wanted to bring up later. It's like, yeah, he did that, and it's like, cool, but like,
why? How and why?
That really felt like Short Round, because the whole thing is Short Round starts the plane in...
Yeah. Whichever one he's in.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Is that Raiders?
Or is it Raiders of the Lost Ark?
I don't think it's Raiders.
No. Or does he start the car? He just starts the car. He doesn't start a plane.
Yeah. I think it's just the car. I don't remember.
Either way.
I don't remember.
Yeah, for a kid this young, like, I don't know.
But the weird thing in that whole setup is like, so he takes off, he follows them, it's storming, it's a good, oh, this is scary, right? We're flying the plane through the storm. And then they're like, the guy is asleep in the back seat.
Yeah, some dude snoozing.
Has no point.
No.
To be there.
No.
There's just a weird inclusion.
I thought he was a Nazi at first.
Maybe,
because like sleeping in the plane.
Yeah, like he was gonna have a weird fight on the plane.
But then he's just the pilot dude who owns it.
Yeah, he was like, "This is my fucking plane," and then they take him on a trip.
Yeah.
Through a time fissure. And Indy kind of like tells you can see Indy like running his thoughts, and while they're planning out, all right, we're gonna fucking do this. We're the Nazis. Let's Sieg Heil, and he fucking goes, hey, continental drift. Archimedes didn't account for continental drift.
Yeah, like we're not going to hit
we're not going to go to where you think we are, because he didn't know about it. There's no way he could have known about it. It was wasn't discovered for another 1,500 years. Yeah. And he's like,
and all the henchmen are like, he'd blown smoke out of his ass.
Shut up, but then you can see that Schmidt's like, oh fuck, I think he's right.
He's onto something.
And then
like last second he goes,
yeah, and they can't. It's too late. They're getting pulled through, so they get pulled through. And this is the part that I was like, this is dope. They fucking roll up, and at first they're like, it fucking worked, everybody. We're in the right time, right place. And you can see combat happening on the water, naval combat. And as they get in closer, it is fucking like 312 BC, and it is the invasion. It's the Roman invasion of the city, where Archimedes had to make the decision to separate
and get rid of everything.
I thought that was pretty dope.
Yeah.
To see like Roman ships, like, firing
pulling up.
Yeah, and to see like a fucking ballista shooting at a bomber. It was pretty cool.
I like the after they landed and everything, Indy's still shot.
Yeah, he's progressively getting worse.
Weak, yeah, and he gets down there and they're sitting there and
he and Helena parachute out,
and he's sitting there and he's like, you're going to find this fissure, and you're going to leave, and I'm going to stay here.
Yeah, he wants to stay.
And he wants to stay. And, like, at first it seems like kind of depressing, but then he's like, I love history, and I get to sit here and die witnessing history.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. But then
there was a little wrinkle of, so Archimedes is like, he sees the plane, and he's hustling down there, to like, I got to get down there and fucking talk to these motherfuckers. And, he gets down there, and they do get to like exchange some words. But we discover that like Archimedes rigged the thing so that it would always take them back to then.
Yeah,
because they needed help to win this battle, and they're like, we can't help them. Like, this has to happen.
This has to happen.
And you can't stay here, Indy, because
If you stay here, that's going to change
you're going to help.
shit.
It's going to change everything. You got to come back. And he's like, fucking shut your goddamn mouth. I just want to fucking die here. Like, I'm ready to die, and I want to die here, you know. And that was a weird thing of, like, Indy was ready to die.
I mean, makes
He was
sense.
super chill with it.
He's old, you know. He's divorced.
And he
his son
listed out all the
passed.
things that were depressing to him.
Yeah.
And why he was an unhappy man. But fucking, I giggled at Boyd Holbrook firing the machine gun out of the plane at like the Roman ships. I'm like, just these Romans getting lit up by a fucking mounted machine gun.
I'm curious on what the plane was that they flew. That, what's his name? Saw, Rigamortus. No,
Archimedes?
Archimedes.
What do you mean?
Because he has the Phoenix and it has the propellers.
Yeah, it's that plane.
Right, but what's the name of that plane? Does it have anything to do with a phoenix, or is it just something it's a bird in the sky?
Yeah, it was just a bird with a propeller. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You figure they all thought it was a dragon.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if in depth to the point of like
That's the Phoenix.
that's the Phoenix B-98 or whatever.
Yeah. No, it was just a bird with
Big metal
propeller.
bird.
Yeah, big metal bird with a propeller on the front. But and he does keep Schmidt's watch. I do like that he walks up and is like, yoink.
Yeah, Schmidt dies. They
crash hard
horribly.
on the beach. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and he comes up and goes, "Oh, that's nice."
Yeah. He's
Thanks.
like, oh, you won't be needing this.
Which leads me. Do you think they're in a paradox of like that?
Yeah, so I wasn't sure how that
that
works.
isn't the first time it had happened. Like it.
But it would be the first time that it had happened for that
For them.
Archimedes. Yeah. Yeah, and so that's where it gets weird. So, like, so it's not a closed loop paradox because they leave with their dial of Archimedes. Because at first I thought that was how he got the dial. And it's like, okay, well, so how does that
No,
work?
because he had his own.
He had his own. And that's what she even says. Like, we've got to take this one back with us because he has to make one. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. How does he... I don't know.
Let us know.
Yeah. Somebody smarter than us.
No. I'm not good with time travel on the...
Because, like, the famous paradox in movies is, like, Terminator. Mm-hmm. John Connor has to be born to send Kyle Reese back in time.
Right.
But then Kyle Reese has to be sent back in time to...
Kill John Connor.
Well, no, to have sex with Sarah Connor to make John Connor. So he had to have been born... He had to have been born first to go back and do it the first time. Mm-hmm. But to be born, you know... So the way that fans solved that is that apparently Sarah Connor had been on a date because there's like a phone call that she has at the beginning, like a voicemail from a date that she'd had, and like, hey, I can't wait to see you again on such and such a day. So everybody's like, all right, maybe on her first date they had sex and she got pregnant, and there we go. That closes that. That closes the loop now. But yeah, because it is that like, well, if you think about it for too long, that doesn't make any sense. A bunch of fucking nerds. But yeah, so she does. She's like, Indy, you're going back, and punches him in the fucking mouth, knocks his ass out.
Yep. Hard.
Like knocks
like
him
yeah,
out.
we're not fucking. She decks him and
He's
out
gone.
cold.
Yeah, blackout.
Wakes up in his bed.
Yeah, all bandaged up. And I did like that she stole a Roman spear. She like snapped the head off of the Roman spear to like bring it back with him. It's like, there you go. You got to bring some history back.
Yeah.
And it's in like very pristine condition because it was just
Is there like 20 minutes
being
ago?
used. Yeah. And his ex shows up. I did like that they actually got her back.
Yeah.
I can't think of the actress's name. But yeah, and everybody's piling into the apartment and is like, you know, Indy, and he's just like,
And they're like, we better bounce.
when
They're
his
gonna
ex
get
shows
freaky.
up. Yeah. And I did like the little callback to like, where does it hurt, you know, or where doesn't it hurt, you know. But you and I were like eyeballing each other because
They were kissing. They're fucking. Harrison, you know Harrison Ford's got that dog, and
I'm
I'm
laying down some pipe. Yeah.
Let me take you home, girl. Get you all alone, girl.
Yeah, and so they do. They pork. Not on screen, but it's heavily.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I was hoping we'd get an awkwardly long sex scene.
45 seconds minimum. No music.
But I called it. You know, they do like a zoom in on his hat
Indy's
hanging
hat.
on the
Like
the
a clothesline.
And yeah, it's doing like a circle zoom in on it, and I was like, she's gonna yank that hat, and she does. She reached out and I was like, yeah, she's got it down bad for that hat. Yeah, if you're gonna do this, do it with the hat on. You know, keep the sun out of your eyes. So you see what you're doing. You know,
I thought it was a good movie though.
Yeah, it was all right.
I could see myself watching it again. it's going to be a while. But like,
Yeah,
if I'm hitting a point where I'm like, I could go for an Indiana Jones movie marathon, I would watch all of them. I wouldn't watch, all of them except for Dial of Destiny.
You good, dog?
Shit, I'm scratching.
Yeah, I mean, my mother-in-law asked me, like, oh, was it good? Yeah, because I told her we went and saw it. And I said, it's the fourth best one.
Yeah.
It's the original 3, then Crystal Skull. It is better than Crystal Skull, but it's not better than the original trilogy. Mm-mm. So, do with that information what you will. Yeah. That's, I mean, there wasn't a ton to talk about. I mean, we just kind of laid down what happened in the movie.
My expectations for it, I was really... I guess my expectations were so low because I was really expecting it to tank as far as
Crystal Skull.
No, I was expecting more of the plot to suck. None of it makes sense, and there was some
there was some
plot holes in it, but like it wasn't
egregious.
Awful.
Yeah,
it still felt like an Indiana Jones movie, and I think that's really what did it for me. Is I was scared of going into this, like especially like with the sequels of Star Wars to compare it to that. Like it was a copy and paste, and after a while, I'm like, this doesn't really feel like Star Wars. Like, what the fuck's going on?
Right? Yeah, exactly.
But this still felt like
Indiana Jones.
Okay, yeah, this is Indiana Jones. This is what's happening. I can see the logic that they had behind that, and I think that's what really drove that wedge in there to make me enjoy the film.
Yeah, I didn't have a bad time. I just
it was what you were expecting.
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, I wasn't mad that I saw it, but I wasn't like, thank God I saw that. Yeah. But what you been thinking about, Chris?
So I'm actually gonna be saving this for next week because it's long.
Oh, okay.
It's all right. Like we might next episode just do news,
maybe,
and then just that.
Maybe, but Mission Impossible comes out, and I kind of want to see it.
Okay,
but
I can do that too. But I mean, just a quick of what I've been thinking about.
Yeah,
it's hot as balls, man. My fucking car tire blew up on it.
Yeah,
and it's just been a whole run around doing with that.
You start getting personal. I just, my fucking job. I don't, talking about my fucking life and fucking kids, my fucking car, my fucking dog, my fucking wife.
I'm at a low point right now. No. As far as games, Baldur's Gate is coming out.
Baldur's Gate 3, yeah.
Mm-hmm, that looks pretty good.
So it's out. It's in early access,
alpha,
but I think it's going out on official release.
And Buddy and I from work keep talking about that, and we're both like, it looks pretty good.
Yeah. Does it have co-op in it?
No.
I didn't think so.
Which is unfortunate. Same with Starfield, which, again, I was really looking forward
dude,
that Starfield was going to... Yeah, it looks like you're running into that.
I am fucking so jazzed for Starfield. I took the week off work.
Did you really?
I dead ass,
When does it come out?
September 6th.
Okay.
Or September 9th, whatever the Wednesday is in that week. Yeah, I'm ready.
No.
It's the week of the 6th. It's the 9th. So you know what I've been thinking about?
Lay it on me.
I just start rattling. No, I've been playing a game called Stellaris.
Yes, you tell me about that. I got another game, but I'll let you finish.
Yeah, I don't think I'm good at it.
No.
I
remember you saying it's super in depth.
Yeah, I feel like I'm scratching the surface. It's considered grand strategy, but it's space based. So it's like I'm playing as the Earth, the United Federations of Earth or whatever, and I got my shit pushed in last night, and then I was like, oh man, I thought I was doing well. First war I got in, and they just
spanked you.
But luckily, it wasn't like conquer. They just moved in, invaded, and then like made me submit. And then once I surrendered, they just gave everything back and like retreated back to their borders. So I was like, oh, thank God.
Oh, thank God.
I'm still alive. But then I was like, I got to build a fucking navy because I got fucked up. So I'm trying to do that. I'm at a spot where I'm like, maybe I should start over again and focus on my navy. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just figuring it out. There's like an official Discord that's like got a whole subsection of like getting started. And I'm like, fuck, I might have to do that. Yeah. But the main reason why I started playing is because it works on my Steam Deck.
Your stack, yeah.
And so I'm able to just play it. And it kind of is a nice little Steam Deck game. But yeah, that's what I've been thinking about.
The one game I will talk about that I've been playing a fuck ton out of later is I literally just downloaded it. It is called Whiteout Survival. And it's basically a cut and paste of Frostpunk on your phone.
Oh, okay.
Except you have heroes. And so you can kind of explore.
Is it like a free to play?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you can kind of explore, but you unlock these heroes. And I already have 3, right? And like it is a microtransaction.
I was going to say, is it microtransaction-y?
But I haven't been paying for anything. And I'm pretty set. Like I'm not like suffering anything.
Yeah.
Because like even like gems, you get like gems, and obviously it's like speed up the process with like
Right, yeah.
30 gems.
Yeah.
But like the shit that you do, you just get a lot of gems. It's a
Yeah.
very heavy, you get mass quantities of resources and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. And like I said, you can upgrade your heroes and stuff like that, and you can kind of choose like from a selection, and you have to kind of like unlock each one.
Do the heroes like make your guys better at production of coal or whatever?
So they don't do anything like that. It's more strictly towards when you're in combat, because when it's like a turn-based
Okay.
combat.
So there's combat in it?
Mm-hmm. And so like you're building all your stuff, you're trying to prepare for the next storm that's coming.
Yeah.
And then if you're like, shit, I need fucking steel.
Yeah.
All right. Randy, why don't you go ahead and take your little infantry here?
Yeah.
And we're gonna go out and explore, and we're gonna try to find some steel.
Yeah.
And you can come across, and they have like levels already set up
Right,
for you,
yeah,
of like
yeah.
balance it and stuff like that. But every time you beat them and stuff like that, you get resources. So you get like steel, food, etc., wood. And that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And like for a mobile game, thoroughly impressed.
Yeah. Because we enjoyed the fuck out of
Frostpunk was banging.
I still want to know when Frostpunk 2 is coming. I thought it was supposed to come out last year, but it didn't. So, still waiting on that one. But, is that all you got?
That's all I got.
Again, we want to thank you guys so much for your attention and support. If you guys enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a great review. Tell your friends about it. Obviously, word of mouth is a big endorsement. Again, apologies for being a day late and $1 short, but we put one out for you.
It happens.
Make sure you're liking, following, subscribing on your audio streaming service of choice so that we can get your notification when we do post. That way, if you find out, oh, hey, there's our episode on Thursday,
And we'll be back to our Wednesdays after this.
that's right,
It was just a fluke.
Yeah, it was just a bad week. Chris, if people want to get in touch with us, give us their thoughts on Dial of Destiny, what kind of games they like, how would they do that?
You can always take a look at us on any of our socials, Instagram, YouTube now, since we have been.
Yeah, I'm slowly. It only lets me upload like 4 at a time, so it's still a slow going process, but we're catching up.
But Instagram, Facebook, YouTube at the Simply Whelmed Podcast. You can always check out our Twitter. Our Twitter handle is whelmed_simply. Or you can always send us like you were saying, recommendations, your thoughts of the movie, things you'd want to change, other plot holes that you saw.
Yeah. Explain the paradox to us if there is one.
Yeah. You can always let us know at simplywhelmedmailbag@gmail.com.
That's right. Next week, like I mentioned, Mission Impossible is coming out, and I enjoy the Mission Impossible movies, so I kind of want to go see that one. But also, we haven't watched any of Secret Invasion, so maybe we should
probably do
a mid-season recap on that. I don't know. We'll have to check it out and see.
Apparently,
what
a buddy from work can say it's good.
I've heard that it's pretty good,
really
but
good.
I've also heard that like nobody's watching it.
Really?
Yeah, which is a shame.
I mean,
that like
you
if
gotta
it's
think,
good,
they've been dumping so many fucking shows.
know.
I bet everyone's just burnt out. They're
Burnt
like,
out,
dude,
yeah.
we had this.
Yeah.
Mandalorian just ended. Right? I think that's the last Marvel.
that's like Marvel, Star
Superhero,
Wars, franchisee show.
Disney Plus, I should say.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I was like, you got to think, The Last of Us came out, and it was WandaVision, Loki. I mean,
It's just there's so much dumping out at once. I think there's some burnout.
I am burnout.
Yeah.
Like I am cool right now. Like lately, I've just been throwing on the TV like Adventure Time, regular show shit. I can just turn my mind off to and like
just put it on,
aimlessly watch.
Yeah, have it on in the background.
But yeah, we probably may do something like that.
Yeah, and then we'll catch up on the news and run through whatever you had for the Cryptid Corner.
Yeah, maybe we'll just have a longer episode.
Yeah, but
well, do you want to hear?
Yeah,
what it is?
Tease us. Give us a little teaser. Give us a little teasy
Let me
taste.
read it. So I won't say everything a part of it because it is like I give you a thing.
Yes, because you were telling me it's more like a prompt.
So this is going to be more of a prompt that I just had thought of one day.
Okay.
And I was like, that seems like a really good discussion point because I think
watch it just flop. And then you're like, fuck.
So we are going to be talking about a post-apocalyptic situation.
Okay.
And so here, just some of the things I'm going to be talking about. And if you had your ideas and you wanted to get ahead, and maybe we'll read your email, before we start talking about it, so we can get your guys' insight too, of just discuss your plan of action of what you would want to do if you wanted to survive.
Yeah.
Would you search for food? What would you do for entertainment?
Do we know what kind of apocalypse it is?
And that's what we'll be talking about. Is what do we find most reasonable, most outlandish?
Right. Yeah. Or like,
and then the most the most likely you'd be able to survive.
Yeah.
You know, because obviously if it's like a nuclear fallout, 9 times out of 10, you're not
Go ahead and call it.
You're
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
You know, so what
Depending on
kind
where
of
you're at. Yeah.
what kind of apocalypse do you think you would survive the best in and the worst? And we're just going to be talking about that because we haven't really talked about it. You and I have talked about
Right,
it,
yeah.
but I don't think we've done a discussion like this. And I was
Not
sitting there
really,
thinking, I was like, that's still kind of dark, gritty, falls in like the cryptid, creepy corner.
Yeah, the uncomfortable.
Yeah. And
Some
so
people don't like the thought. Yeah.
I was like, that would be, I think, cool to talk about.
Yeah, I'm interested.
But yeah, I got a bunch of questions in there that we'll talk about. But yeah, let us know what you think. Send us an email and we'll definitely be reading them, especially if you do it now, because now you got the
411.
Yeah.
Got the heads up.
But that's the end of the podcast. Everyone, bye.
That's my line. It's in the show, Chris. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.